Yo guys, how you doing? We're back, and today we're going to be doing Magnus's do. I'm about to go on holiday. I didn't want to start a big project like the wings or so on. We'll do that when we get back. So I figured we'll try and get this one done in one shot. We've just finished off, admittedly just one half, but that is a hell of a sword. Just so cool. Just got this side to do, but that's a couple of hours work. We'll find time off stream. We've done all of this part of it on stream. We finished off the flames on Hellstorm stream last night. Got some more highlights down on there. Really popped in those shadows. Did a little bit of wet blending as well on the feather, and then just some normal layered highlights on the rest of the red. We've left the gold because we're going to do all of the gold in one hit on the entirety of the miniature, and there's plenty of that to do, so leaving that for now. But if we can get the hair done, there's a little bit of skin down here that needs to be done as well. We can probably get the entirety of the head put together and start getting a few of our sub-assemblies kind of finished off for Magnus. Exciting times. So in the chat, we've got Arbellas, we've got AJC72, Des, as always, ProJam23 and Omar. How you guys doing? Hope you're having a great week. We're going to be using the airbrush a lot tonight, so let's get that compressor fired up. Super cold. Right, going to use some white ink, some black ink. Then I think we're going to go still with the inks. That's Des with the host. Thank you very much, dude. Gonna get some scarlet on the go. I want to make this guy Magnus the red head, clearly. This mayor says, have you magnetized any bikes on flight stands? Yes, the Samael and Talon Master that you'll see down here have had magnetization. Best way to do it is with some convex magnets that, or like countersunk magnets with a hole in it, so you can put them on the stick, and the magnet on top of those works really, really well. Let's get some flow improve right. Maladeus getting his sub in. What a day, what a beautiful day. He says, feels like I've been in this wonderful community for longer than, but it's only 4 months. Whack. Having a blast with the amazing basic gift from Robocrafts. Toughs are unreal. They are unreal. Exclamation point rival in the stream. Let's get some love for Sarah and those fine folks over there. Soon to have a hell of a lot more stuff as well. We're getting on board that MiG, the ammo set of products. Everything from weathering powders all the way through to like specialist weathering pigments and so on, like wet pigment rather than dry powder. So yeah, it's good. Skywars get falling off. They are a pain, mate. They are a pain. Alright, so we've got some white ink. First thing we're going to do is just go in with a regular Zenithal style pre-shade for this. That's a very astute observation you've made, but no. So weathering pigment isn't necessarily the same as an acrylic paint. Can be a very different thing, different formula, kind of different mediums, and so on and so forth. So to call it just a paint would be doing it a disservice. All right, let's start this off with fairly traditional Zenithal. Coming down from the top. We've got a load of areas where we want to put some shadow into this, but for now, let's just start with a basic highlight. We're going to do something slightly differently to how you would normally prep your mini for a acrylic ink. So remember when we did the Necrons, we did a series of passes with white, then we got some black out, darkened down our shadows. Oakin and Hicko, how you guys doing? Austin Aussie in the stream as well. Comments up, Bob, mate, I love the fact you keep coming by. Hope you have a good evening, dude. Take it easy. But not only are we going to put down our white and black layers like we did on those Necrons, we're going to start coming in with basically black wash to really darken down a lot of our recesses. I'm going to do that before we start adding that scarlet ink over the top. So it's going to be a very different process. So Crown Blade, what I'm not talking about a paint that you just slap on something. Janelle Sen! 16 months, man. 16 months. Holy shit. How are you? See, Maladeus gets it. It's very different using a weathering pigment that's a wet pigment than it is using a regular acrylic paint. Yeah? If you put something on that's designed to give you an effect a lot like oil stains or wet mud, it's going to look incredibly different to just using a brown paint. So, just keep bringing this white up, build our value. It's super bright on a couple of points. What on earth am I painting? So this is not Cousin It, though it does look a lot like it. It's not Aslan's mane either, from the Lion of Witch in the Wardrobe. This is the hair of Magnus, which is effing huge. So here's a Stormcast dude that we were using last night in our painting lesson. Look, the size of this hair is something insane. Absolutely insane. Janelle, we are doing great. If your Twitch crashed, you missed the props I gave you for that 16-month streak. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Very humbling. And give Magnus a big old ginger do. Alright. Dry us down. Crown Blade, it is a paint. Obviously, it's a paint. But for the sake of clarity that everyone else seems to have gotten, but you seem to be stuck on, it's not the same as a normal paint, so we called it something different. My God. So you see we're still bringing up this with the white, despite the fact that all this looked white a minute ago. These many more passes to get to full, absolute full value that we're after. This is going to be sat right in front of Magnus's wings. Seeing as the wings are going to be white, with a sort of mother of pearl effect put into it. Using paint that's actual paint, by the way, Crown Blade, just to be sure, paint that is actual paint, not a random weathering pigment, but paint that is paint made of acrylic, medium, and some paint powder, i.e. a pigment. Just to be clear! Because it's going to be sat in front of something that is bright white. This needs to bring our viewers' eyes right back to the foreground. So we need this to be full of vibrancy, very powerful. It's absolutely got to steal the show from those wings. It's okay, mate. I didn't blame you for listening to me. I blamed you for being a pedantic mother. Also, somebody asked, where am I going on holiday? I missed the question earlier on. I'm going to Gibraltar to take part in No Retreat 9. Really, really looking forward to it. This could be the last tournament I go to this year, due to the new COVID regulations that came out today. Or rather, didn't come out today, I suppose. They were slightly tightened up a little bit today. And were also it basically spelled out that we could probably look at the future for the next 6 months to be basically this. As a result, this could very well be the last event I go to this year, and it might even be the last one of the ITC season, which would run it through till February. Jan! Mate, you superstar, how are you? Let's get some love in the stream for Jan. Epic streamer over here on Twitch. Get some follows for that man. Very entertaining fella. Very knowledgeable. Also just happens to be a phenomenal artist as well, so, you know, I mean. Janelle, the tournament starts on Friday. It runs Friday to Sunday. It's a 3-day event. I'm flying out on Thursday morning, but I'm leaving here tomorrow because my flight is at 7:35 a.m. Why, EasyJet? Why? There are no other planes in the sky because no one can fly at the moment. Why does it have to be 7:35 a.m.? Utter piss take. But I'm very much looking forward to it. It's going to be great. I found out from my boss today that they want me to take my work laptop just in case I get stranded. Damn it. Oh, nice, dude. I did like all of the Blackstone stuff that I painted, with only a couple of exceptions that were not the most interesting minis ever, but for the majority of them, they were awesome. It does make total sense to take a laptop, Oakin. If nothing else, if I get stranded out there, it's going to be easier finding a way back on that laptop than it is on my mobile phone. So, you know. The tables are amazing. I played on some of those tables last year at the SNGT. If you can get yourself out to that at any point when the world is back to, we'll say, normal, and hope for the best, I genuinely think you should. Because you get to have all of the fun of playing on the most beautiful tables you'll ever see at a tournament, same as you would do at No Retreat, but you can qualify just by buying a ticket. So, yeah, that's a plus. We're off to Gibraltar. We're going to see the folks at SN. Managed to qualify for No Retreat this year, and this is the first No Retreat that isn't in the retreat. AMP Services coming in. Oh, let's get some love for this man right here. This is one of my favorite people on Twitch. Absolute superstar. How's it going, Justin? We're painting Magnus's hairdo today. We've got a load of stuff to do on this guy. On the last stream, we did some work on his sword, which, even if I say so myself, is looking pretty baller. Snuffy, Embassy Clerk. What else we got? Mammoth. How you guys doing? I am doing great, dude. This is going to be the last stream for a week because I am about to go on holiday. I can't wait. Oh, I need this holiday so bad. Going to Gibraltar to take part in the SM Battle Reports No Retreat event. It's taken me 3 years to qualify for this. Snuffy, thank you for the follow. So, yeah, it's going to take a lot to stop me from going now. It's going to be sick. Yeah, that's a lot different. So on Instagram, it's going to look a lot like this right now. So we haven't done that side. But a little bit of black, a little bit of grey and some highlights. And then we've got the Molten Sword of Power, the Blade of Magnus. sword of change, whatever you want to call it. Super, super cool. Let's go in on Magnus the Blue, aka Magnus the Shred, aka Dr. Manhattan. Gonna be cool. Gonna be cool. So we're doing his hair, of course, bright orange. Almost looks like a celestial body walking through the blade. That's kind of what we were going for. AKA a large smurf. AKA did everything wrong. Did at least one thing super wrong. Like, there was definitely some wrong. Right, we've just given this a white pre-shade. We're now going to get some black ink and start darkening down some areas of this to really amp our contrast up. Going to be really careful with this because we want to retain as much of that brightness as possible. But we're going to do a lot of work pre-shade with our black and white layers, our value layers tonight, before we get the ink out to cover over the top of this. So we're going to actually, after doing all this, get a black wash over this layer. Then we're going to highlight it white. Then we're going to put the ink over the top of that. So a very different way of painting it than just grabbing some reds and going from there. But it's going to be something that gives us, I think, a very soft set of highlights. I don't want it to be too stark because it is hair, after all. And we're not giving him like some Cruella de Vil style highlights or something going on. Bad judgment call, that's for sure. Absolutely. Last stream of the month is going to be a week today. So I actually get back from Jib next Tuesday. And should be home in time to start the stream. And that'll be the last stream of the month. So we've got all the prizes up for grabs on that stream. That's that £50 hobby voucher, exclamation point win. The potential mystery prize, exclamation point mystery. And who knows, maybe something else. There is a small chance of being stuck in Gibraltar. There is. It's unlikely. I have no idea what their population is over there, but let's call it, like, I don't know, 20,000 or something. Not a lot. They've got 21 confirmed cases. It's not a lot. Not really. And it's been kept very well controlled. So no real danger, I don't think. I mean, don't get me wrong, as much as I want to go to the tournament, if there was, I wouldn't be going. So I'm almost certainly not going to the Alliance Open now, unless things really change in the Netherlands. There is very little chance of me going to that event. It's looking pretty damn dicey over there right now. Moon, I hope you're doing okay, man. We've got a few guys, Dutchies in the stream on occasion. But yeah, you guys are having a pretty tough time out there right now. Worse than we are. So we're just finding some areas here that we can get some extra contrast in here. You're doing fine? Good. This is going to be all of the larger areas for this value. So we're going to get a wash down on top of this very shortly. Let's help pick out some individual hairs. But for now, we're just looking at the areas that have the most shadow. What we want to just make stand out a little bit more. Some of these wider patches, like that for instance. Of course, my friend. You take it easy. Thank you for dropping by. Okay, dude. If you're going to PM me, send it to me on Instagram if you can. I'm better at replying to stuff on there than I am like Twitch Whispers. But take care, my friend. Thank you again for that raid. Let's get some more love in the stream for Justin from AMP Services. the armed painter. This guy's an absolute boss. Extremely positive hobby badass. Alright, I'm just going to paint the skin of Magnus black as well, because that's going to be painted blue. Starting out from dark blue. For some reason they chose fit to put his ears on this section as well, so gotta get them done. You love that Justin guy, we all love that Justin guy. Still more chance to get driven by a truck. Even more chance to be killed by a cow. Then catch it or die from it. And like, are we talking you've got more chance to be killed by a cow unless you're like, if you're a dairy farmer, I'd assume chances are higher than if you're like a city worker. You're throwing up lots more unanswered questions with the bigger chance of being killed by a cow there, I feel, mate. Either that or like you really don't like your sister, and that's what you're referring to. Okay, any more? I think we're pretty good for now. Right, flush the airbrush through. I'm going to dry this down, hit it with a quick varnish to help protect that ink that we've laid down already. Airbrush paint by nature is very, very thin, right? And it is very prone to being lifted off the miniature. When you start using inks, that problem is even more of an issue. Just because of the fact that inks, despite being much more powerful than paint in terms of their pigment strength, are very, very thin. Way thinner than paint. So to put that varnish down, maybe even do a double layer, just to protect that white ink. We don't want that coming off the miniature when we're applying our wash, or when we're applying a highlight over the top of it. Cool. Rival Sarah, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Alright, just give that a second or two to cure. We're painting some extremely 80s hair tonight. The Dyson getting his Twitch Prime sub in. Absolute superstar. Thank you, sir. Start hitting that. And like I said, we will do this twice. We'll get a double layer of varnish on there to really, really cement those inks down. I love how you mods shout out each other. That's brilliant. You're good? Epic. So Sarah, tell the stream a little bit more about your exciting new range of stock that you'll have coming in soon. Diabolus 21. Testers Dull-Coat. This is absolutely the best spray varnish you'll ever get. Ever get. It's very difficult to find in Europe. In the UK, there's a couple of larger stockists that have it. So, Firestorm Games have it. Model Display Products have it. There's a couple. This is the biggest can it comes in, a 3-ounce can, and it costs about £6 a can, so it isn't cheap. Alright, bear that in mind. You are getting what you pay for, though. I have never had this frost, ever, on a miniature. I tend to buy 12 to 18 cans of this at a time. They come in boxes of 6. Because the thought of running out of this again makes me panic. Like, properly panic. Too many sprues. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday, brother. Let's get some birthday wishes in the stream chat. Everyone give that man some hype. Why are you here on your birthday? Even Danny went off and played Halo, you know. Janelle, we varnish everything. The only thing we don't varnish down is like powders. That's it. And over metallics, I still use this. Fletcherton! 6 months, dude. I know, man. I know. Where does that time go? Where does it go? Pop to say hi. Awesome, mate. Look, you go and have some fun. Happy birthday. You got anything nice planned? I mean, I'm guessing you're not having like a house party, because that would be illegal right now. You'd be in the jails. You were having your birthday, enjoy getting old. True. True. Was I here on my birthday? I think I was. Let me go back to January. Yeah, we did stream on my birthday. Crazy. Crazy. Right, gonna get a somewhat tatty brush. You grab some dark tone. No, I use this to seal all the minis, and that includes metallics, which was one of the questions that was asked. Even for things like the custodes that we've done, where the whole thing is metallic, they got sealed with this twice. Yeah, I did have a tournament. That was the tournament I went to with the Iron Hands at Bristol Independent Gaming. Just because I wanted to win a tournament on my birthday. so I took still a relatively fluffy version of Iron Hands. Although, turns out aggressors with strength of the Gorgon, not fluffy at all. Was there Hellblasters in the list? I think there was even a squad of Hellblasters. There was. I had a unit of 7 Hellblasters in the list. And people were looking at the list going like, alright, this guy's got no fucking clue. Like, this is just an absolute shit show of a Marine list, whatever. And then suddenly it wasn't a shit show of a Marine list. Alright, so I've thinned this down with equal parts Flow Improver to Dark Tone. I've also added in some water as well to get this really, really thin, and we're just painting this all over the thing. I'm going to start towards the top, work down towards the bottom so we can pick up any areas that have pooled and stop that from happening. But this is just to get a little bit of shade in between the individual hairs. We want to do this prior to putting our Scarlet ink over the top. Because what I don't want to do is put that ink down and then have to come back and then put in a shade underneath some of these hairs, dodging around the Scarlet, because it's very, very difficult to match that colour with the acrylic paints that I've got, that being an acrylic ink. So we're doing it this way for 2 reasons. The first one is I think it'll be easier in the long run, and the second one is to see if it'll even work. So by doing this, and then by coming in and just highlighting the white up with some white ink, we're at a layer where we've got loads of chances for forgiveness if we get something wrong. And it's something that I'm trying to incorporate into my painting a little bit more, is giving myself that kind of safety net, I guess. There's a lot of things that we do without one. Some of the airbrushing we do on fully painted models, there's absolutely no chance. If you fuck it up, you fucked it up and you've killed the model. That's the end of it. But for everything else, maybe there's some better ways of doing things to make things easier for a less experienced painter like some of the people in the stream might be, and I can pass those tips on. Have to get you guys a little bit more proficient perhaps in certain levels of painting. Gonna watch Equalizer. Nice. Nice. First one, great film. Second one, a bit Just to... Once again, let's grab the hairdryer. Dry this bad boy down. One sec. Right, I don't have to worry about that for now. Sorry, we've got an SN admin WhatsApp chat. Pardo just posted like 4 messages in there, so I had to make sure there was nothing disastrous that had happened, basically. Every single time there's a message in there, or every single time there's a fucking COVID update from the government, I almost literally shit myself. Really want my fucking holiday. Kets! How you doing, dude? Taking a while to dry because that wash obviously let a flow improver, which is dry and retarder. So I stopped it from leaving too much of a coffee stain on the miniature. Plus a lot of water went in as well. Obviously takes a lot longer to dry down. Raycos Infinitas 187. Thank you for following and welcome to the stream. There you go. So we've got a little bit more delineation in that hair. Let's give it another coat. And then we can come in and just pick up some highlights in the hair just using that white ink again. So I still think it's the right way to do things in terms of apply a zenithal highlight, despite the fact that we've painted over a lot of that. And despite the fact we're now using this technique to wash this prior to putting down our hue, which would be the scarlet. I think we'll end up with something that's really clean by the end of it, although there seems to be something on my brush which is dead to me now. I'll brush off. See you in a bit, Sarah. What the fuck has happened here? Mini Dreadful, thank you for the follow. I'm guessing there was some sort of crap on that brush that now seems to have transferred itself to Maggie's head, which is super unuseful. I have no idea what was on that brush. Okay, let's try this a different way. Let's grab a large, soft brush and just try. That's better. What was on that? That was weird. I shouldn't have had glue on a paintbrush. Like, I'm very much unsure of what may have caused that. And that varnish definitely got cured using the hairdryer, so it's very strange. No, I'm pretty sure that varnish had cured solidly, mate. We gave it a very good blast with the hairdryer, just to be on the safe side, in fact. But it's okay. It's okay. If this was the final form, then we'd be looking at stripping this and starting again. But we've got loads left to do after this. There we are. I'll print you one. How you doing, dude? Did you do what I suggested with that dry brush, by the way? It should be somewhere warm, snug, dark, and probably highly smelly right now. I think this one did go well. No dry brushing, ever. Definitely not a Magnus. And if you want Rocky, just dry brush the rest of it now. We'll call it done. I won't even bother priming the armor plates. We can just dry brush all that shit. If I leave them loose in the bag, you can glue them on when they get to you, right? Hey! Got another bot. Yes! That's 2 bots in 2 nights. Get that ban hammer right down. Jaeger got there first this time. Either that or Desh just let him have it. Right. That's all dried down. So now what we need to do . Give me a minute, let me just work out what the fuck has gone on here. No, we're okay. Okay. Now we're going to highlight a load of the hair though. You get that white ink out. Absolutely, dude. Oh, we've got another one. Oh! Happy days. What we need now is the porn bots. Alright? When the porn bots come in, we're on 69 viewers. When the porn bots come in, that's when you know you've made it as a streamer. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Alright, not using that brush, we're using a good brush. A decent point. So you just got some normal white ink, unthinned. And then we're just going to hit sideways on somebody's head. Oh, there's another one! Oh, bots, you guys are on whack-a-mole duty tonight. Look at this. So we're still going to end up putting some highlights down on top of the scarlet hair as well. I know this. But this is essentially the same as getting our pre-highlight down, that pre-shade that we did. But now it's specifically on the high points of the hair. So we're going to have a lot more variation between some of these strands of hair and the shadow, little recess in between them. And another. If you leave them, you'll have more viewers. Yeah, but it's going to be fuck annoying though. And they can still view and be banned, right? So they still count as a viewer, I guess. They just can't interact with the chat. That's 5. Dracos is a bot. Get him. He's not. He says he's not a bot. I think that's exactly what a bot would say. That's a clever bot, but we outsmarted it. Des is a bot, just a highly intelligent one. Potentially possible. He was smart enough to train his dog to subscribe using Amazon Prime. Maybe this machine has evolved. This could be how Judgment Day starts. Training dogs to use Amazon Prime. So this step may not be necessary. This is a new technique. Something I thought maybe that would work. Let's give it a shot, see what happens. The way I see it, this is kind of like sketching. And you see a lot of artists do that. Sketch highlights for their value layer on a mini, and then just paint over with acrylic paint rather than airbrush something. Oh, it's a 7 now. Damn. How do physical therapy refer for a bot? Not the best experience they do so. When they the best experience when they do something you can't do and you have no option to answer. Damn, I can't imagine having physical therapy through a bot. I had to have respiratory physiotherapy years ago after basically I couldn't breathe properly. And I couldn't imagine that without it being a human being at either end of like the room, you know. Drinking game based on how many bots we get. Well, I mean, like, I'm not going to keep this up, but Draco's just having issues. We've got Remora bots apparently. They're taking his life form. Life form? Life force was what I meant to say. So, let's move away from bots. Who has been doing some hobby since Sunday stream? Anyone got their hobby on over the last couple of days? Is anyone doing some hobby right now? We know that Danny, aka our print U1, aka can master non-metallic metal through just one painting lesson with Jay. What's surprising? I'm just waiting for someone to ban someone that isn't a bot because they've been too late to the point, and somebody else gets fucking booted out of the chat. Rancid Vomit 360. Oh, what a name, dude. What a name. That's right up there, man. Good God, we're into double figures. Was gonna paint, now banning. That's a banning. Oh, what's it? That's a booting. Des, you're doing a great job of the booting. I reckon Macy sent all the bots over just because that's a paddling. That's a paddling. He was constantly going on about how much work you have to do to be a moderator, and there was never any work to do. And now there's some actual work to do, and Macy's not a mod. So I reckon he sent them. That's his cunning plan to become the one and only Twitch painting streamer. Everybody else spend all their time banning bots. Their mods will be taken over by the bots. Oh no, my guess 15 may be too low. Possibly. At this rate, we've been going for 45 minutes and we're 11 in. I wonder if anyone ever actually falls for that shit. Like, yeah, I'd love some more followers. I'll go and give my Twitch permissions to this random website. start working on this side now. I think Magnus has got split ends because this is definitely 2 hairs. Same website over and over, yeah. Yeah, exactly that, Kets, right? Alright, if you want to make affiliate, it doesn't take long. As long as you're at least sort of passable at the sort of social side, I guess, of Twitch. If you can talk to people, make them want to stay in your stream, come and hang out every now and again, then you'll make affiliate. And if you can't do that, then that's not Twitch's problem. That's a definite like you problem. Maybe this isn't the kind of thing that you should be doing. Making partner, obviously, much harder. But, you know, they promise big follows. How can you say no? I mean, I'm just going to have to. See if you can ban the phrase. Oh, you might be able to. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. See, there's a reason, mate, that you are quite clearly #1 mod. Jaeger, too many sprues, not a knock on you guys at all. There's an old hat of this in many ways. He's a seasoned veteran of the moderator scene on life. Just using the edge of the brush now, you can see to hit these highlights. Just realised what we could have done instead of doing this with white. This would have been an interesting thing to try. Could have used something like a really pale yellow. So Jaeger, awesome. Let's see if it works. Great idea. Just how big is Magnus since you are painting his hairpiece separately? That's his body. Stormcast person for reference. You know, you could put the Stormcast chick in his hand and it wouldn't look too out of place, let's be honest now. As far as the wings go, I regularly see birds in the garden that don't have a wingspan as big as Magnus. They're fecking gigantic. So, yeah, this guy's a beast. His head is about the same size as like a Terminator torso. And yes, he has the most magnificent hair. I very nearly did something like Bowie inspired with this, but our original vision for Magnus the Blue, which is how we're painting him, was from the old Epic 40k miniature who had the most obnoxiously ginger hair. So that's what we're doing. It's got to be. Which is actually quite a nice peaceful thing to do. You don't have to worry too much about going wrong, because all you're doing is just painting a lighter version of the same thing you've already done. And it's on hair, so if it goes a bit wrong, it's kind of an organic thing anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Maybe give this a go at some point, guys. Might be a way for anyone without an airbrush to start getting that value layer down, that sort of sketching style that people like Marco use quite frequently. I'm pretty sure I've seen Miniac do something similar to this, though he, like I, normally uses an airbrush. A bit more on this strand of hair, and then we'll just double check that we haven't missed any entirely that we need to get a lot. Yeah, there's a few here, just a couple. Revisit some of those. Get in here. So again, using the side of the brush, much easier. Those highlights in. Right. Once more with a hairdryer, and then let's get our scarlet ink out. So see how we've now got a lot more variation in between the individual strands of hair than we did earlier on prior to putting those washes down. I'm hoping that's going to pay us dividends on this ink that we're putting over the top. Excuse me. It's a beautiful kind of orange as well. Right, pop the wet part back away. Compressor going again. And then flow improver and some scarlet ink from Dalarani. Going to go quite thin with this, 2 to 1, just so we can take our time with the red. Go nice and slow, not oversaturating any aspect of it. So, here we go. So just adding in this a little at a time. And we'll build this up to full opacity, obviously. But we don't want to do that too quickly and run risk of the black areas just being completely covered by this ink. There will be a difference, obviously, in the finish of it due to them being darker. I want to make sure that everything remains separate and stands out. Nice. See, there's absolute superstar. Big thanks as well to Jager for having played whack-a-mole with the bots. Is there any places we've missed? Yeah, a couple down here. Make sure we hit every angle on the hair. this looks like really weird spaghetti because of the tremendous lack of scale. Like, some of those hairs are about as thick as a man's arm. So it's just a bit weird. Getting big? I don't think so, mate. Really? Well, that's nice. I don't mind that. As you can see, I look so closely at the analytics for the channel. Right, let's dry this down. See what it looks like without the gloss on it. Spag Bog the Red. Yeah, apparently. Magnus the Spag. Could be. Could be, Des. Don't know. But absolute superstars, guys. Fucking legends. Everyone, let's spam the chat now. The bots have spammed the chat. Let's you guys spam the chat. Get some hype in the stream for those two brave mods. 2 men alone, betrayed by the platform they serve on. Now the only light in the darkness. Can't remember any of the rest of that quote. Right, that's not bad. It's come out extremely orange. Very much ginger. God, against the blue, that looks fucking sick. In the grim darkness of 2020, there's a lot of grim and dark in 2020. Okay, I like it, but we need more power up here. So we're definitely going to come in with some highlights. But what I want to do first, flush the airbrush out and do a little bit of a mix of that Scarlet ink and a little, and I mean like a tiny amount of that lemon yellow we've used before. Used it on the Imperial Fist, we used it on all the Noble Demons. There's a lot of that going on. Needed Jeremy Clarkson power! Absolutely. Are they releasing that again? They did the Imperial Guardsman Primer. God, I want to say like 10 years or so ago. Is it that? It's like what it means to be a guardsman and how to conduct yourself and look after your las rifle and like how to die in ideally more than 15 hours, not less than 15 hours. That could be fun. With more prayers. They need more prayers right now, mate. O Lord, who hath say kissed Acadia. Right. This should give us now an even more vibrant orange. Jaeger! Clarkson impression appreciated. This is going to be the most orange-haired Magnus in the world. God, that's fluorescent. So again, working super thin. And we're going back to that kind of zenithal style. Is that enough of a difference? Not really. Just chuck in some more of this lemon yellow and see what happens. Appreciate the cheers though, man. Thank you. course, by adding the yellow in as well, it's going to help contrast a little bit more against the blue. Just hit some of these areas on the bottom. And it's still not quite as bright as I expect it to be, but we'll see. I guess Magnus has no soul anymore, not because of Zench, but because he's a bloody ginger. That could be. That could be. You said by a 7-inch Marine, it would be good to paint on stream. I want to buy the McFarlane one. Is that the one you're talking about? Like, that would be cool. I'd get a couple of those, and then would do one for myself, perhaps, and then one as like a little weekend stream, raffle him off, that kind of thing. Is that now being announced? Or like a release date? Yeah, here we go. Action figures from McFarlane Toys. The Necron looks great apart from his gun. The Marine looks pretty good, to be honest. He looks better than the Bandai one. Like 100% better than the Bandai one. But yeah. Order on Saturday the 10th. Cool. Yeah, give us a reminder, guys. We'll definitely pick up a couple of those Marines, as long as they're also not about 100 quid, which is what the last one was, which was redonkulous. I was all for it until I saw the price and was like, no. I think we can go even further with the yellow. The yellow's been absolutely obliterated by the Scarlet. Tonight on Mohawk Gear, Jay screams power! Jager blocks a bot, and Des trains his dog to sub with Prime. Awesome. Oh, I fucking love Top Gear. The Grand Tour is obviously also amazing because of those three people. That's it. Oh, here they are! The Art of War coming in hot as well. How's it going, dudes? Good to see you folks again. Let's get some love in the stream for these boys. Speaking of stream, how is your stream? What did you guys get up to? Yeah, I wasn't watching it. Yeah, it totally busted, Fish. Like 100% busted. Your stream was wonderful. Good, man. What did you guys get up to? We're painting Magnus's hair at the moment. You fixed all the Skyweavers you dropped. Oh, dude. Dude. They are the most brittle things ever. Gold Star, what's going on? We painted Maggie's blade on the last stream. We went the extra mile on that sword, I feel. The molten Sword of Change. And so we've gone from super cool to ginger. We've got a little bit of like an E Blanca from Street Fighter going on with this. We're just working our highlights up on his hair now to give him the absolute most soulless ginger hairdo of all time. And this highlight, I feel we're finally getting somewhere with it. We're mixing a load of Yemen Lello was what I was going to say there. That clearly isn't right. Lemon yellow in with some scarlet ink. So let's get some love in the stream for those guys at the Art of War. Absolute bosses. Everyone over there. And they put up some pretty damn good podcasts too. It's going to give me something to listen to on the plane. I've intentionally not listened to any of your podcasts for the last 2 or 3 weeks because I'm about to fly out to Gibraltar for the No Retreat 9 event, and I need something to listen to on the plane. So we've got your podcasts ready to go. Gonna be sick. Gonna be super sick. How do you connect the head to the wire that is connected to your handle? I drilled a hole in the head, basically. So you know how people say, like, I need a hole in the head? Sometimes they do. But I basically just drilled a hole. There's a little bit of paper clip in there, blue tack, shot glass. Job done. Damn, the unpaid one as a suggested retail price looks like $20 US. That is nothing. Yemen Lelo sounds like an Asian lady tonight. Not sure how I feel about that. Orange is vivid. What paint is that? Well, it's a bit of a process, to be honest, mate. So we started off with a black undercoat. And then did a Zenithal with white ink. Once we've done that, to establish some base values, we took some black ink and just hit some of these larger recesses, like really darken down some of these areas with it, right? Give it a couple of coats of varnish, then washed all of that with a mix of flow improver, some dark tone from Army Painter, a little bit of water. Give it 2 coats of wash. Then we started using inks again. So we used some Scarlet. Now we're starting to work that up with this lemon yellow and some Annunciation. So we're going to keep working up that lemon yellow till we finally get to a point where I'm really happy with how vivid this is. It's getting there. We're feeling like we're close. Oh no, there's one important step I missed in there. After we'd done those washes, we took some white ink and just highlighted our pre-shade. So before getting any color down on the model, just establishing that value map, bringing some of these strands of hair up to an absolute 10 with that white ink. If they're like 15 quid, I'll pick up a couple. Is the lemon yellow mellow? It's a bit intense. It's a bit intense. So I really like using inks because they've got a lot more power in an acrylic ink than your standard acrylic paint. And you can get a lot more done with just a few passes. But I'm also really liking the fact that we can just keep just upping the intensity of this lemon yellow a little bit at a time. And it's just slaying this hair. Just fucking going for it. And the Scarlet, there's so much power in there. All that's left is like the dregs of the Scarlet and a load of yellow we've since put in. But it's still holding on to it. Keeping us well within the orange area of the color spectrum. And just popping up a really bright highlight on the top of that hair there. I'm going to start keeping these really small now. Get a little bit down in towards the bottom. So we get a little bit of a gradient on some of those hairs now individually. Flip around to this side, do the same down here. So very small motions with the airbrush trigger, just letting out the smallest amount of paint, keeping it nice and focused with some full pressure. Frosting those tips. God, look at that, that's vibrant. So a cello melon, damn it! Dyslexia, come back off. So a cello mellow lemon yellow to top it off with some limoncello. Limoncello is lush, I can agree. I used to go to a Italian restaurant in town that at the end of the meal they'd give you your bill, and if you were of the right age, complimentary limoncello. I'm like, yes, now I'm coming back. I know you've basically topped up my bill with just not to pay for that in terms of like the other price on the menu, but I don't care because it's the illusion of being free. Again, just pull out some of those hairs with this highlight. Got these two large bangs just sticking out, so we'll go a little further on those. But load it back from Sicily because they did just that. Yeah, exactly. Went to a Turkish restaurant a couple of weeks ago and had Turkish apple tea, which was amazing. Halfway through, we'd finished our meal and we were just sort of waiting for food to go down before we thought about ordering desserts. And they just rocked up with some tea and like, would you like some complimentary teas? And like, sure, I guess I'll try it. That was nice. And then again, paid the bill, and they walk over with like a little tray with various different Turkish liqueurs on there. It's like, would you like a drink? And like, I've got to drive, and now I really wish I didn't have to. Jager, peace out, man. See you in a bit. I think it's a really nice thing for any sort of hospitality business to do. Just makes you feel welcome, despite the fact you know it's the illusion of being welcome. Because every customer gets that, right? Alright, you come back here and just amp up some of the very top part of this hair again. Get another pass with that orange yellow we've got going on. Whew. Whew, that's powerful. Okay. Liking that. Right. Flush the airbrush through. And I'm going to leave that to dry for a little bit before getting the hairdryer on it and another coat of varnish. I like to really have time to cure down rather than just surface dry. I can't deal with ouzo. Don't like the flavour. It's that kind of licorice anise thing. Like, no. I just like the ink drying on the tip of the airbrush. Just there, baby. Airbrush Flow Improver. It's a drying retarder mixed with water, basically. And that will give you all of the protection you need. If you're using a lot of white ink, it will still happen. Because of the way that white pigments are made, basically. You can't reliably stop that and still have a usable product. But with everything else, kind of good to go. Right, let's knock the compressor off for a sec. What can we work on while we wait for that to dry a little? We could just do the blues for the ears and so on, just carefully. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's keep working with the hairpiece in that case. So once again, pop the airbrush just out of the way. Some super strong shit for you, and like, can't remember what it was though. I imagine, were you in the French Alps? If you're in the French Alps, that will have been eau de vie. And I've got some which I only open on special occasions because it is in the high 80% alcohol sort of gap. Eau de vie is French moonshine, translates as water of life. And the stuff I've got is more than 30 years old and is banging. But Ben, who is a big lad and can hold his drink, had about this much out of a glass, and when he was in a taxi on the way home, sent me a message saying, "I can't feel my teeth." So, you know, treat with caution. There's a reason you can't remember any of it. You had alcohol poisoning. Steiner Miniatures, doing well, bud. How are you? Welcome to the stream, man. Right, this is Magnus's hair. Got a really, really strong ginge going on now. We're gonna paint this bit of skin. we've got some Signar blue base. So we'll pop this down. Make sure we paint his ears, because this is one of the only minis I've ever seen from Games Workshop that's a humanoid that has actual molded ears that aren't like alien, like big ears or like a dragon or something along those sorts of lines for dragon people or something. Ready to finish some more corn. Blood for the Blood God. Nice, dude. Nice. I do like the Cornate minis. Apart from, of course, the World Eaters. For 40k, those Corn Berserkers, they look unfortunately bad. They are in need of a new kit. As soon as we get Angron and Codex Chaos Demonkin back, sorry, Corn Demonkin back, not Chaos Demonkin, Corn Demonkin. As soon as that happens, we're all over it. Oh yes. But for now, we'll pretend they don't exist. Stan Lee scene of Avengers Age of Ultron scene where he gets a drink. Oh, you mean the damn it. It's like their 1,000-year matured whiskey or whatever it is that they're drinking. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of that. Excelsior! First official game of 9th tomorrow. God damn, man. God damn. There's a few people at No Retreat who are like, I haven't had a game of 9th yet. Right? You realise the tournament starts on Friday. You need to get a game in. It's changed a lot. My round 1 opponent is not one of those people. And he's got a filthy list. And I'm not just saying Axis Nurgle. It's a filthy list. But I think I can outshoot it. I think I can outshoot it. May not be able to. TTS counts for absolutely nothing. That is such a bad way to play 40k. I tried against someone that's a friend of mine who is a gamey prick. I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. He is one of those people that will take any potential advantage to win a game. And that includes a bit of a sort of psychological factor in the game. So it's great practice to play against because I'm not going to have that issue when I'm at a tournament. But equally, it's not a fun practice game of 40k. And sometimes it's just not fun at all. What I'm using for No Retreat, mate, I only play Imperial Knights. That's my competitive army. We are the defending #1 Imperial Knight player in the world. I had a look on the ITC rankings this morning, and I am currently, by a margin of 100 points, the current #1 Knight player in the world. #1 to #2 is 100 points. #1 to #3 is 210 points different. So we're doing well with our Knights. Have had 2 third-place finishes at RTTs, because that's all you can play right now, which is a bit of a shame. And I need Sickly Skin, which isn't out on my desk. So we're taking Knights. I play House Crashed. I've always played House Crashed. Ever since the absolute launch of the Codex, House Crashed was the go-to. Like, this is clearly the best one because that reroll hits in combat is super, super good. turns your Crusaders into Gallants, basically, from any other household. I need some Lothern Blue as well. It should be this one. No, this. We take 3 Crusaders and 3 Helverins. That's it. Super simple list in 9th edition. In 8th, it was 3 Crusaders, a Paladin, and a Helverin, but with the points changes, can't take that in 9th. But 3 and 3 fits perfectly. So you get 3 standalone Crusaders, Thermal Cannon, Ironstorm Rocket Pod, Heavy Stabbers on 2, Melter Gun on 1, because I had 5 points left over. And then with the Helverins, you get 1 unit of 2 and 1 unit of 1 to keep that 5 Lord of War choices in a super heavy detachment. And then you stack on all the defensive relics. So I've got one knight that's got the 4-up invulnerable save from shooting, Iron Bulwark. He's got Sanctuary for a 5-up invuln save in combat. My Warlord has a 2-up armor save. And then you can start putting the offensive relics and Warlord traits on there. So we've on the Warlord got Cold Eradication, which is a new Mechanicus trait. That trait gives you the ability to roll an extra d6 when choosing your random shot weapons. So in this case, that's the Thermal, the Ironstorm, and the Heavy Flamer. Pick the highest. The last knight has the Burst Knight, ironically Warlord trait from House Crash for reroll 1s, and Endless Fury. Haven't been taking Headsman's Mark for the last several events. I just found that Endless Fury I get a bit more reliability out of. And also now with everything being listed on your sheet at the start of the game, I just feel it's useful in every match, whereas Headsman's Mark is useful in a couple. And sometimes none. Ales, this is clearly not for me. I mean, is this a week for ants? The old man finished 4th Saturday, and that was with them screwing up his results for round 1. Oh, damn. That sucks. Would he have finished higher if his results hadn't been messed up? I found out that the first time I podiumed for a tournament, it was a grand tournament, I came 2nd, and after the event, this is so annoying. After the event, I found out that if you table somebody in an ITC game, then you score kill more, hold, and hold more for every round after that, but you don't score the bonus. And you max any secondaries that you could have maxed. And I found that out on the drive home, totted up in my head the games that I'd had, and if I'd known that, I actually would have won the event, which is so annoying. Never mind. Fish said I had a discussion with someone yesterday who insisted no other knight list could win that wasn't Terran, and he personally knew the best knights players and all play Terran. He's talking shit. Like, that's it. Like, you know, I'm the best. I literally have a trophy right there that says that. I don't play Terran. I've never played Terran. I'm never going to play Terran. It ain't good. Tell your mate to come and join the stream, and I'll educate him. Don't know if Ginger would suit me. I think if I was Ginger, I'd actually be bold. The shame of the Ginge. Brilliant. Brilliant. Absolute mong. The organisers weren't listing standings or results. The final results, you had no idea. Oh, damn. Oh, well, that sucks. That sucks. Unlucky, Janelle. Better luck for him next time, though. Knights are fucking terrible in 9th Ixtab. There's lots of things that you can't do. You are extremely limited in your choices of secondaries for a start. So you can't take any of the psychic ones unless your opponent has a psyker, in which case you can kill it to get some points. You can't take any that rely on you doing actions, because all the ones in chapter approved are for infantry only. Sometimes you can take the mission secondary, but that normally requires you to make an action, which you will never want to do, because that gives up your entire turn with a Crusader, for instance. So you're looking always at taking kill more, because you should be able to as a knight player, and if not, then you know, it's just not, it's not your game straight away. You know, you've lost before it even started at that point. Then you're looking at either assassinate or kill vehicles, which is called bring them down, I think now. I keep trying to call it the ITC names for everything, so like recon instead of engage on all fronts. And that's usually the last one that you take, is recon or line breaker, depending on what your opponent is, where the objectives are as well. So, Jay does not lie. Currently knights in 9th are like they were in 8th, but shitterer. They are definitely shitterer. Mostly because in 8th, in an ITC match, it was hold one, hold more, kill one, kill more. That was your primary. Whereas now it's go and stand over there. And that's a lot trickier to do with knights. Right, I'm just going to grab the hairdryer, dry this down, then we will get some varnish, and we'll leave that to set and cure. And in the meantime, what can we do? What can we do? What time is it? 10:30. I don't want to paint the wings. Just looking at Magnus. Oh, okay, we've got a load of stuff we can do on Magnus. We've got like talons and horns and shit to paint. We can do that. That's fine. Shitterer. Yep. Eradicators are absolute aids. It's 120 points, mate. 40 points a model. Just utter balls. You verify your results with them. Yeah, that's the way it kind of should be, really. Like, at least with BCP, both you and your opponent both put your results in by verifying it with your pin number. So you can't really make a mistake on that. But seems that these guys maybe aren't using that one. Yeah, banners is great if you've got infantry. Yeah, you get multi-melters as well. Yeah. What about mixing knights with other stuff? If you do, then you are a filthy, souping scumbag, and you deserve, I don't know, to step on a Lego. But also, you can't get your pure faction points if you do so. And if you take 3 Crusaders, which is, like, that's the best unit in the Knight Codex. Absolutely the best unit in the Knights Codex. That's already rocking in at 1,470 points. And so that leaves you 530. You can fit in something like a small patrol of Marines if you want, or some AdMech to get Canticles for your Knights. But as soon as you do, you're looking at spending 2 points for that. So by the time you put your Warlord traits for your Crusaders, you start the game at 6 CP. Then you're down to 4 CP. And that's still doable for a game, easily enough, because you get one back every turn. I used to start 8th with that, so that's not a real problem. But unless the army you're souping in doesn't need strats to be used at all, that's the only way you can do it. Also, I don't like playing soup. I think soup is playing a game on easy mode, and Knights are very definitely playing the game on hard mode right now. To win games with them. Everyone says Knights are easy. Yes, it's an easy army to play from the perspective of you only got to remember a couple of data sheets. Most of your weapons are the same, moved over to each different knight. And you can ignore some of the rules of the game. Fall back, shoot, charge, all that jazz. Winning with them is hard. And I've beaten people like Marcus Hinson, who's a world champion, Alex Harrison, world champion, former ITC champion, Manny Chima, world champion, you know, with pure knights against their tournament lists, and it is fuck hard winning those games. I beat Alex twice. Once using orcs when orcs were decent in 8th, not long after they got their codex and so on. Fucking war boss missile, which is the worst thing for a knight player to see. And I beat his Chaos Knights, which he then came... I think he came 3rd at the event with Chaos Knights after I beat him. Yeah, Acolt, you've absolutely got it right. Movement and target priority is huge for knights. I think movement and target priority are the two main lessons you need to learn in the game, full stop. The movement phase is the most important phase in the game. If you fuck that up in any turn, you can absolutely ruin your chances of victory. Think about the number of times, and this will have happened to everyone in the chat. Think about the number of times you sat there and gone, yeah, I just needed to make this 8-inch charge and I failed it, and that's what lost me the game. Actually, I think you'll find that what lost you the game was not moving correctly 2 turns earlier to make sure that 8-inch charge was a 3-inch charge. So that's the key thing in all of 40k for me, is the movement phase. If you get that right, and then you make the good decisions in that phase, then the rest of the game is easy. So to any player out there that is looking to increase their win rate, I want you to start thinking through the entirety of your turn, realistically, do the maths, in the movement phase. So for me, I measure out what I'm going to do with every one of my knights. And admittedly, sure, I've got time, I've only got 5 units to move, but in your army, you've probably only got like 5 important units to move. The rest of it is either sit on an objective or bimble to the left slightly to get a line of sight on something. That's it. But you measure out what you're going to do with everything, make sure that's the right move in your head, and then move it. Because there's no such thing as a take back. It's not, oh, I've moved this over there, but I've changed my mind, I'm going to move it here. So it should have been there, and so I'll move it in there. Because suddenly you're not in the right place. And in 9th, whereas in previous editions there was a little bit of ambiguity, there wasn't. There really wasn't, but players would like, well, you know, it doesn't say you can't. There are no takebacks in 9th. Once you have made a move, that unit is considered to have moved, and standing still is a move. Right, this is where we're at with the head. Nice head of hair for Magnus. We've got some highlights to do, but I want to leave that to dry, fully cure. So we're going to move on to the big boy himself. I'm going to do some work on all of his little talons on his fingers. Get some washes into stuff like this, as well as plugs. We've done it a little bit, but I want to darken these down even more than we've currently got. Let's grab some dark tone. We've had it earlier on, and catch up with the chat. The other army's often been able to hide everything important in deployment as you struggle to do so. I almost always can't hide anything, especially now with the obscuring rule, and people would just be able to see me that I can't see them. Makes things very, very difficult. It's why I'm really not in favour of that obscured rule. Because I'd be okay with it if knights were tougher than they are, and yes, it's a 24 wound miniature with a 3 up armor save, toughness 8 and a 5 up invulnerable save. On paper that sounds pretty good, but it really isn't. There's a lot of armies out there that can drop 2 knights a turn, which is 1,000 points. They're not as tough as you expect. Spend ages moving and measuring, psychic, shoot, etc. takes much less. Yeah, and do your measurements in your movement phase. So if you're going to charge something, my knight moved 12. So if I move from here to here, I am 5 inches away. So that's a 5-inch charge. Yes, Mr. Opponent? Yes, that's a 5-inch charge, Jay. Cool. So even if I've moved it, it's ever so slightly incorrect, I've placed it slightly wrong, we know it's a 5-inch charge. It's declared intent, which is an ITC thing. It's absolutely the best way to play the game, because both you and your opponent have agreed that certain things are going to happen, and it removes a lot of the gotcha moments from the game. And nobody if you're the kind of person that likes gotchaing your opponent, then frankly, you're a bit of a cunt. Be a gentleman. Play the game like a gentleman. We all want to win, but we should all want to win the right way. Painting all these Matrix plugs now. Play next turn already during your opponent. No. You plan your next turn during your current turn. Like you go in your turn now that you're playing. You're playing turn 3 by moving stuff. You've planned your turn 3 in your turn 2, and you're thinking about your turn 4 in your turn 3. You refine your plan in their turn. Yeah, so if they've done something you didn't expect to happen, you're like, oh, okay, I can adapt by just moving that to there and that to there instead, and then this takes that shot instead of that taking that shot. Done. Like chess. Yeah, 6 moves ahead. In 40k, it's difficult to be 6 turns ahead. You know, there's only 5 turns. But you can definitely be 1 entire turn ahead. And that doesn't matter what opponent you've got and what they're playing or what army you're playing. You can definitely think about your following turn during the one you're playing now. I made Dark Elder and then some Craft World and Quins. I'm used to moving quickly. Now with Death Guard Infantry or CC Admech, it's much slower, hard to adjust to. Yeah, because your movement phase is nothing like it used to be. You've gone from having one of the most mobile armies in the game to having one of the slowest. But you've traded that up for durability. So you've got some very funky abilities there as a Death Guard player. You can do a lot with them, have a lot of fun. Fire twice next to you, ready to go strength 12, AP 4, and D6 with minimum 4 damage. Yep. Can be hits on 2? It can, but that's going to be a lot harder very soon. Because the Tech Priest Aura thing is probably going to be going away. Or there'll be vehicles that are core that it will affect, such as perhaps Box Dreadnoughts, Redemptor Dreadnoughts, maybe the Invicta, perhaps. I think also Titanic should be -1 to wound and a -1 damage. Yeah. Ogikin, which one? Was it the gotcha thing? Yeah, don't be that guy at all. You can win games, you can win events, and still be given sportsmanship awards. You know, I've definitely had events that I've won where I've been voted favourite game. I haven't had like 5 of those votes. Admittedly, it's very hard as a Knights player to get those because games either go one way or the other. But definitely, you don't need to be a bell end. Rule 1: don't be a dick. You keep failing deployment. Deployment is super crucial. If you fail your deployment, you failed the game. It goes back to thinking about what you're going to do in that turn, like your turn 1, what your opponent could do in their turn 1 if they go first, whether you want to go first, and what you want to do in your turn 2. You've got to think about all those decisions prior to placing your toy soldiers. So it takes a lot of quite in-depth understanding of what your army can actually achieve and what your opponent's army can achieve in a realistic standpoint. 3 turns ahead. Yeah, I mean 2 really, like your opponent's turn and your next turn, because you've planned the turn you're playing earlier on and reacted to it in their previous turn. So it's kind of this weird like 5-turn stretch that your brain is working in. Seems to be extreme durability / extreme output list. People that go for just wounds are going to lose games. Because there's enough output from a lot of things that will just keep doing the damage. And it will become quite relentless. You're just... When you can't destroy the things that are doing the damage to you, you really have to hold up. And like 300 wounds worth of stuff on a table just isn't really going to cut it anymore. This guy checked one of my dice because it rolled 2 6s in one turn. It was a red transparent crystal one. You rolled a 1 on it, lol. And he was trying to put me on the defense. So I was beating his... Yeah. Like, I have heard stories of people who have had the accusation of you're playing with loaded dice. But I've never actually met... Oh, bollocks. I need to get some bone out and just repaint that one claw. I've never actually known anyone that has gone to an event with loaded dice. One of my friends was at an event, and they used to have, back in the days of seizing, a roll where you could seize initiative. So if anyone didn't play an 8th, at the start of the game, you roll to see who had the first turn. And then, before the game starts, whoever's got the second turn can choose to roll a dice. On a 6, they go first instead. That's it. And a friend of mine grabbed a specific dice off the table to roll his Seize Initiative test with. And it was an SN dice. And it rolled a 6. And his opponent spoke to the judge during that game and said, look, I think he's playing with loaded dice. I think he had a loaded dice for the Seize. Because he grabbed a specific dice. He rolled it and it was a 6. And that was proven to not be correct. It was not a loaded dice. He did grab a specific dice because it was an SN dice. And that was what he wanted to try and seize initiative with. But it wasn't loaded. So when the TO came and stood at his table and just kept rolling one dice for like 30 seconds straight, he was found to be completely innocent of it. But there are some people that have a desperate urge to win. For those people, I'd suggest maybe a sport that isn't competitive, such as, I don't know, crochet or something, is probably better for you than 40k, because you're not going to enjoy it. You will win some games, but you will still have a fairly hollow feeling in there because of how you've won them, and you're not going to love it. That's about it. Somehow these have become extremely paint resistant. Like, what the shit is this? I know we're using a very thin wash right now, but I might airbrush these. No, that'd be a faff. It's not. Here in Denver, we have a guy who used heat to stretch his ruler sticks that used to come in Judo starter boxes, so they were 1 and 8 inches per month. Wow, what a bell end. I mean, you instantly get found out if your opponent goes, damn, that, I thought I'd put them this far away, measures it himself and goes, huh, on my tape measure that's made of metal, it says this. Oh, holy shit! Too many sprues. Throwing out some gift subs. Dude. Mate, it's your birthday. None of this, alright? We should be subbing to you. I don't know if that actually works, but that's what we should do. So, Ventress 40k, Thick Oz, Lulu, Nurgle Matthew, and Berryboy78 all just got a sub. If you're one of those people and you're like, well, why is that important? Why should I sub? Exclamation point win. An exclamation point mystery in a chat. Thick Oz. There you go. Here's your meeps as well. S. Farrell. Nurgle Matthew. Here you go, dude. There's some for you. And then lastly but not least, Berryboy78. Boom. There you go, guys. You've all got your meeps. Thank you again to Toony Sprues. Get some love for the birthday boy. Celebrate everyone. Plus, love me some meeps. Well, there you go. It was your birthday last week. 21 again. Sure. We can go with that. Uh, also, if you suck up, you should sub because my homie is pretty cool. He gives awesome painting advice and tips. I mean, you're half right. Some of my advice is a little bit shaky. Very cool. Wait, no, that was the wrong way around. Should have made him roll a d6. Haha. Very appreciative of anyone that donates a sub. It's always cool. There's never any pressure to do so. There's no paywall behind any of our content. It's all uploaded to YouTube for free. So, exclamation point YouTube. We do this to try and give you guys some of the advice that I wish I'd had when I was starting out as a painter. Would have saved me a lot of hassle, potentially a lot of money. Rebuying paints, products, miniatures, whatever. I also feel there's a lot of misinformation out there which we try and avoid. Now, disclaimer to that, I will teach you how to paint my way. My way is not the only way, but it's just the way it works for me. So some of the rules, there aren't really any rules in painting, but some of the rules that I sort of paint by, they may not work for a different style. Danny, you definitely did, mate. So I'll print you one. Had a pair of painting lessons given to him for his birthday by MCG Jaeger and Ginger Dan, I think the other guy was. And last night we did an hour and a half's worth of tuition. We've got another half an hour, which we're going to use as a kind of refresher session once I get back from Gibraltar. Danny wanted to learn how to paint a non-metallic black, basically. So for use on Space Marine armor and so on and so forth. Getting those sort of interesting black tones down using some blue. And so that lesson was a tricky one. Like, you had to keep up a little bit. We had to go through how to glaze. We went through how to break down a piece of a miniature, so whether it's like an armor panel or a shield or whatever else it might be, and work out where your highlights should be being put on that part of the miniature, where your shadows should be darkest on that point of the miniature. And we moved on from there. And by the end of it, Danny had a pretty reasonable looking, but not gonna lie, some improvement was needed on a shield. But then lo and behold, a couple of hours later, I get a message on Discord like, so dude, how does this look? And he's not painted a shield, which is what we spent the lesson doing. He's used his noggin, he's used his imagination. He's gone away and painted a van brace, so a foot and a leg, with another Stormcast, and it looked banging. Again, a little bit of refinement there to sort of bring it to the absolute best it could be, but considering this is a guy who has never glazed until the last couple of days, really, really impressive work in that lesson, mate. I can only take so much credit for being the teacher. You know, the rest of that was on you. If anyone's thinking, you know what, I could benefit from some private tuition, watching Jay's great. You know, we learn a lot from what he does, but I've got this one particular thing I want to learn how to do. Hit me up on Discord. Send me a message on Instagram. Once I get back from Jib, we'll have some more time on a Monday night to invest in some private lessons. Alright. Where's the sword? Here we go. So here's the sword. Love this. Fucking love this so much. He's got to paint his nails here as well. Oh, how's Magnus coming? Just ordering my countersunk magnets for a bike. Going well, dude. Going well. Can you teach me how to roll sixes? Not really. Still no. Mathematically, you should have had a 1 by now. It's a long lesson, that, mate. It's a very long lesson. Many hours of tuition. In fact, if you want to learn how to roll sixes, Mane offers coaching advice. And he is a man well known for rolling sixes, so maybe he's your best bet. Go speak to the boys at Glasshammer. So Danny, what do you think was the most important part of your lesson yesterday? What was the thing that changed things up for you the most? Berry Boy, thank you very much, dude. We've still got this half to do. That took a couple of hours, but I really, really like it. I just do. My missus saw it when it was this way round, like the paint for that. She's like, oh, it looked really, really good. I said I'd done some more of it on stream. She was like, wait, what? What have you done? I showed her that. She's like, oh my god! Happy bunny. You can do it sometimes, just not consistently. Bake your dice. I mean, fuck that noise. That's because it's exclamation point Discord. Whip isn't a command. You're absolutely right. Right. Whilst that's drying, how is this looking now? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Happy with that. So we're going to get a few individual highlights on the hair to really pick out some of those bits of detail. I've got just enough space on my wet palette, so let's grab some Trollstare Orange. What do you think is the worst matchup for your knights? Space Marines are a tough matchup for anyone, so they're up there. Harlequins, because of the bikes, are right up there. They are absolutely the hard counter to my list. They can move faster than I can move. They can bounce in and out of cover with things like fire and fade. They're durable because you can give 2 units of 6 of the fuckers if you want. A 3-up invulnerable save. -1 to wound, -1 to hit. So yeah, they're absolutely one of the strongest armies in the game versus my army. I would rather play salamanders than that, because if I go first in either matchup, I've got a chance. If I go second in either matchup, I've got a chance against the Sallies. I've got no chance against the Harlequins. How about Death Guard? They don't threaten me the same way they threaten other armies. For a lot of other armies, they... Fish, for the purposes of answering these questions, I assume that the player I'm playing is like right up there. And they won't make a dumb mistake. Peckish! How you doing, dude? So, for Death Guard, I'm not fussed about a couple of jazzed up entropy cannons. I don't give a shit. Because my guys are tough enough and we've got a decent invulnerable save, we can just ignore some of that. I'm not overly fussed about big units of Terminators, because sure, you've got DR, that's great, but I've got a load of damage 3 in my army, so on average dice I'm still killing a Termi every time you fail an armor save. So yeah, there's a lot to Death Guard that doesn't really fuss me, and their great strength being T5, I haven't got that many weapons that are strength 4. Oh, 5 heavy stabbers in the army, that's it. So that's not so bad. 5 favourite chapters and why. World Eaters. You didn't tell me which. You know. World Eaters for definite. Because Angron, basically. They're fucking great. I love that just absolute berserk nature that they have. Ultramarines, because believe it or not, I do genuinely like the colour scheme. Honestly, I think it looks rad. The first company, blue and gold, or second company, whatever it is, rather. Really like it. I think it looks super smart. Carcharodons, because Polynesian tattoos. I've got most of my arm covered in that. Let's see. Number 4. Alpha Legion. I love that colour scheme. They're just sick. And I've got an Alpha Legion Primaris army sat upstairs. And then finally, Space Wolves, I think. Space Wolves. They're the most unique of all the Marine sort of subsets. They've got more fun, unique units than any other army. And yeah, I think they just look sick. They've got some cool models in their range as well. That was an interesting question. Thank you for that. Chose 2 Harlequin players. Can't find Sam Hogg on the channel, but the guy had useful tips. So yeah, Sam, I don't think has ever been in the channel. Sam is currently ranked 22nd, I believe, in the UK. And the reason I know that is because I am currently ranked 21st. So fair play to Sam. This is last year was his rookie year when he started getting into tournaments. It was mine as well. And good to see him keeping up there in the rankings. You do love Scars. Scars are cool. Scars are cool. Blood Raven's colour scheme. Codex Sega representing, clearly. Yeah, Wolves are kind of heretical. Yeah, slightly. I wonder if Chaos will get any Primaris this edition. They might do. It's been hinted at with Bile and his experiments. So maybe in Chaos Codex version 2.3.0, I guess, for the new editions, they might get some. World Eaters, Ultramarines, Sallies, White Scars, Thousand Suns, Awful Law Island Rules, love Space Wolves, but don't make my top 5. Fair dues. Fair dues. Any Marine army, or chapter, I should say, rather, any Marine chapter that was so pissed off that they couldn't drink anymore, that they developed poison to allow themselves to get drunk. Yeah. Yeah, you guys get my respect. That's good. Pre-Heresy Death Guard Cream Scheme. I do like that. When I got back into the hobby, maybe 5 years or so ago now, that was what I wanted to paint. So I bought a box of normal Tactical Marines, and the paints to do Loyalist Death Guard. Painted 5 of them up, put them on lava bases. They look cool, but they took just inside of forever to paint. With the weathering and everything else that it did on them, I was like, God, I'm not going to get an army of these done. Just not. So decided that we're going to change the colour scheme. Rather than doing cream, I ended up doing black with still the green. And realised after Codex Angels of Death came out, I'd accidentally done the Sons of Medusa, so I started playing them with those rules. And they were strong as fuck. That's where the Smash Captain on Bike came from. Smash Fucker, the Gorgon's Chain Thunderhammer wielding dude. Yeah. So Smash Captains owe it all to that book, basically. Which Primarch would you want to go for a drink with? Are we talking like go for a coffee with? Or are we talking like want a drink? Because that second part, probably none. Horus pre-failing to cast for a drink for sure. But worst chapter. Dark Angels. Just emo fucks. They're just emo fucks. That's it. Going for a beer. Let's see. Perturabo. Go for a beer with Perturabo. You'd be a bit miserable, but I feel once we've had like a few beers down, you start to liven up a bit, and the next thing you know, we'd be making fortresses out of beer mats, and that would be sick AF. You're just jealous of Deathwing? No. Why would I be jealous of Deathwing? They sit there writing very long poetry by candlelight and crying into their full body-sized pillows of the lion. Why would you come back? I mean, fuck me. They've got more abandonment issues about their father than anyone else. No. Dangles with their edgy poetry and complete emo-ness. I know everyone thinks Raven Guard are emo because of that one Shrike model with the hair that makes him look like he's about to sing Welcome to the Black Parade. But no, definitely all about poetry, and I'm not going to carry any of my analogies on because they're going to get really, really personal. There's at least one Dark Angels player in the stream. Bunch of emo fucks. What's the name of the One Chaos chapter that are essentially just renegades? These guys are flamethrower hand thingy and a brainless moment here. That's her on Blackheart, right? And that's the Red Corsairs, I think. Yeah, target number 4 confirms Red Corsairs. So, Trollstar Orange doing well, getting a bit more like pop on some of these bits of hair. We obviously got a little bit more control doing it by hand with the brush than we have with the airbrush now. And we will, of course, be adding in a bit more yellow, same as we did before, to really amp these up. We've got about 15 minutes or so before we go into the work in progress gallery. So if you've got something that you would like to show off, exclamation point Discord in the chat. Go and head over to the work in progress section there. Upload a couple of pics of stuff that you've been painting, hobby that you've been doing. Show me what you got, guys. Let's see it. Also, don't forget, after today, there will be no stream for a week while I attend No Retreat. If you'd like to see some updates from No Retreat, exclamation point social. Go follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the other bollocks that people normally spout their opinions all over. And I'll be doing a little bit of vlogging from No Retreat. Some of it will be game stuff. Some of it will just be like fun stuff, hanging out with the guys, having a few beers. Got a couple of day trips. One to go and see a lot of fortifications in Jib, which seems quite interesting. There's a nice little walk on Friday morning. We've got a boat trip planned to go and see some dolphins. Because dolphins, that's cool. I've never seen a dolphin in the wild. May as well while we've got the chance. Before dolphins get COVID or some bullshit. Let's hope that doesn't happen. GW, the best orange and yellow for you. They are my favourite orange and yellow, actually. Trollstar orange and Flash Gets yellow. Shayna Wolf Dancer, that was like a month ago. Where have you been? That was easily 3 weeks ago. I was streaming the following day. Monday night I was streaming. You can't kill what's already dead inside. Fun fact, Magnus loses magical powers if you cut off his hair. Well, he hasn't smoted me yet, and it's not attached, so you might be right. Leave the planet like a Hitchhiker's Guide. That could be another plan. That could be another plan for the Dolphins. Just laugh at it. Everything's funny. Everything's funny or nothing's funny. Those are the rules. So this is a mix of Troll Slayer and Flash Kits. Picking up some more highlights on the hair. Getting that super, super bright now. Loving this. I think our little experiment worked quite well. Doing all that pre-highlight work. And then coming in with those inks. That's definitely had the effect I was hoping it would do. So that's a technique we'll use again at some point. Normally sleeping then, I haven't seen you on for ages. Oh, fair enough, dude. Fair enough. But yeah, we're good. We enjoyed the stream. It was a fun challenge. We're waiting for the new Necron Codex to be released with some new toys. Mr. Chillmore, thank you for the follow. Because there's always going to be room for the Necronathon 2 Judgment Day. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It may not be another 110 minis because we've got all our core shit out of the way. We probably have got all our core shit out of the way, let's be honest. But it might be things like, 3 monoliths with a load of like freehand up the sides and a little bit of battle damage and so on. That could be fun. Watch the space. Ways to hold the hair. I usually feel like a good grip does it and just pull gently, firmly, not sharply. But in this case, it's a shot glass, some blue tack, and a paper clip because we are absolutely balling on a budget here. And also, the best thing about shot glasses is once you've finished your project, you've at least got something to drink out of, so you're good. The Chronothon 2, the Necrononing. No. Judgment Day. I thought Judgment J, but then, let's be honest, that's going to be absolutely ripped apart. Like, that's too easy to make the obvious jokes out of. So, Judgment Day is going to have to stay as. Chronothon 2, the spawning. I don't get that one. Don't understand the reference that's from. But they're also painted like the Terminator. Hence the Judgment Day reference. No electric boogaloo. Definitely no electric boogaloo. Bad horror movie called Piranha. Oh shit, I think I've seen Piranha. They did Piranha 3D as well, I think, didn't they? Which was very memorable if you're a lad. Right, let's just hit some of these up here, and then we'll do one more quick highlight, but just on the top section of the hair. I want that to be the brightest bit, since it's further up the miniature. Using a lot of that side of the brush for our highlights. I'll Keep them nice and skinny. Very light brush pressure. Very small amount of paint on the brush. Danny learned all about that last night. I feel that's probably changed his painting for forever, just learning about that. In fact, I think that's probably the biggest takeaway from that lesson. I did it across between piranha and flying fish. Could have been. You've been to Gibraltar before? Yeah, mate. I was there last April for the SNGT. When I was packing today, I was like cleaning out my t-shirt drawer and found the t-shirt that we got given at that event. It was very cool. I had like a black Templar on the front. No Retreat t-shirt. Looks fucking sick this year though. I think that's probably the best event t-shirt I've seen. In fact, in terms of its design and everything else, it's super, super awesome. Alright, like I said, one more highlight, just the top section of this hair, but that is looking extremely, extremely bright. This is what we wanted. So we're now moving up to nearly pure flash kit shadows, a little bit of that Trollstair orange still mixed in. Fury Road, what planet are you on? That was a great film though, Fury Road. Watched that at the movies. And initially I was very disappointed in it. I wanted to have more of the backstory as to like how the world had gotten that way and so on. And I was gutted they didn't have any of the exposition for it. But then I watched the second time and just marvelled at how epic the film was. My dad for his 60th last year, a surprise trip. He was based there for a while. He was in the army back in the 70s, 80s. Quite emotional. It's a cool place. Nice, dude. Very nice. Jib's awesome, man. It's not quite a tax haven because they have a corporation tax, but it's very low, and that's the only real tax they have there in terms of like buying stuff. There's no VAT, which means that booze is cheap, stogies are cheap. It unfortunately means that most of Gibraltar is filled with retired English expats, all getting shit-faced, and they basically behave like English tourists but full-time, and that's something that I imagine the locals have to just deal with, and it's not my favourite thing about the place by far. I can now no longer listen to Smoke on the Water without thinking of the first night I spent in Jib, where me and my buddy Pete went to a bar because they were playing some live music and it was being murdered by some dude on stage. Ugh, no. It was pretty terrible. Pretty terrible. Right. I'm going to call that done. I think that's come out really, really nice. There's loads of different tones in there. We've kept it relatively random in terms of there being like no, like, it's like this entire section is bright yellow. It's not got like a highlight pattern in there. But we've got loads of little bits of colour all the way through that. That's going to stand out magnificently well when we put it in here next to Magnus the Blue. I mean, look at how much those two pop off each other. Fucking crazy. Absolutely crazy. I love it. If you put this next to the sword, it's going to take some of those colours from it. As you can see, we're keeping that orange theme going on there. It makes that purple stand out even more because purple and orange, obviously great sets of contrast off of each other. I'm really liking the way his mini is turning out. He's going to be a very unique colour scheme, I think, by the time we finish with him. You don't see many large minis painted in these bright colours. That's Magnus's face with that hair. Isn't that just beautiful? Absolutely fantastic. Right, let's do it. Let's go look at the whip. Get rid of the glove. Oh. There. Love that. Don't love that. All right, work in progress. Here. That was pre-stream. That's pre-stream. Here we go. Too many sprues. These are some of the gifts he got today. Needs more magnets, he says. Canis Rex. A bollock shaver, I think. Let's see. No, it's a 3D pen. I thought it was like a little electric shaver. I'm guessing that's something for like a tablet to draw on or something. And there's some stuff to 3D print with. There we go. There we go. So we've got 3D printing stuff, Canis Rex, and what is definitely a pen and not a shaver for his nutsack. Good to see. Right, here we go. This is Danny. First attempt. Oh, the filament goes in the pen. Huh. That's kind of cool. That's actually quite cool. Instead of shaving it, you could draw yourself some plastic cubes. Ba-dum. Excellent work. Speaking of excellent work, this is Danny after one paint lesson. Just one. So an hour and a half of tuition. And then he went off by himself and thought, right, I'm going to take the lesson that Jay and I just had. And I'll take those teachings, the examples that he's given me, and I'll give it a go myself. This isn't bad. It needs some refinement. It needs some blending. You know, a little bit thinner with that paint. Needs to draw some of those shadows back in, especially on that sort of crenellated foot. I think that's the wrong word for it, but like the plates. You know, just to draw those lines back in, get some shadowing on the rivets and so on. But this is a really good start. Also, I know that prior to that lesson, Danny would have thought this was impossible for him to achieve. So well done, champ. Good work. Good work. And he's got some more work from him. He's got a load of Stormcast that he had gold. I'm guessing this is going to change very soon to not being gold anymore. Also, what is that weird face that's got your headphones on? That just looks a little creepy, I'm not going to lie. Crown Blade. This is Crown Blade in his box after I slapped him down earlier on. Interesting little terrain piece. Is this Warcry? Not sure. If you're going to display this with the... it's your Baby Yoda I misscaled. Okay. Magnus to the top of his hair, shall we say, is about 7 inches. To the top of the wing, 10, I guess. He's got one wing that sticks up like this, rather than being outwards, and it looks great, but you can't hide him. Okay, cool. I would probably put a little bit of particulate, even if it's just a weathering powder, in the bottom of the coffin there. And I'd probably just amp the runes up a little bit. They're looking a little bit lost. Plexi Waffle is painting some Death Guard in a very similar to their original colour scheme, so red instead of green. It's cool. I like the red and the bone. Yeah, it's like an inverted Blood Raven. Gone to chaos. Nice bit of rust going on there. You got another picture or two. There's a completed one just below here. Yeah, looking good, dude. Looking good. Is this a lot of contrast? Could be. My first attempt at painting my first minis. Damn, alright, man. Bit of a small picture. Let's get a bigger shot. Mate, for first attempts, can't argue with this. Next steps to look for then, seeing as you've managed to get your brush control pretty well, you've got a few highlights on there, you've got some weathering on there, you've done a little bit of freehand on that little tank at the back as well. Cool. Simple ask you a question. Not a problem, dude. Not a problem. Yeah, everything you've done here is pretty good. Next steps would be to darken your shadows a little bit more, get more contrast going in there. So you've got all of these details on the armor, lots of little bits of battle damage. You can darken down those a little bit more than you have, and then just separate some of the armor plates. So he's got that sort of belly plate going on just below like the chest bit that he's got. You can just darken down some of these recesses, highlight these edges up a little bit more to help separate those areas. But what you've got is great. Past that, looking at basing. Yeah, nothing finishes a model better than a nice base. It's a really, really important part of the miniature. And something else, just a quick note. On this guy's base, and this happens the majority of the time on 40mm bases, because of the way they're made, there's that little bump. Just take a craft knife and shave that off, because you'll still see that even when it's painted black and everything else. Good job though, dude. Really, really good. Crazy Yank says it's getting out of hand. I mean, now you're approaching the same level of Necrons that I painted in a weekend, and you've taken a couple of weeks. You're doing okay with it, mate. Doing okay with it. It's not Gremlins, for definite. Flat in the base? Cool. But nice work, honestly, Plexi Waffle. For your first minis, I'm pretty blown away. Like, my first miniature was a blood angel that looked like he'd been the victim of domestic abuse. Like, he had two massive black panda eyes, like this. A black bolter that extended up onto his elbow. Looking like a bruise. The most awful gold trim on stuff. It was horrible. This was back in the day where you had miniatures that were like a lead body and plastic arms to glue on, so he kept losing one of his arms as well. Used to scale models and busts. There you go, man. That explains that you've clearly got that skill set you're bringing over. Crazy Yanked, 80 warriors. That's good. That's good. Here you go. This is the full set now, maybe. Nice, mate. Got some wraiths in there as well. I'm not buying any more for the Necrons until after the Codex drops, and then, like I said, we're almost certainly going to do Triple Monolith, because I fucking love them. They look epic. And they'd look brilliant in the cabinet as well. So, you know, almost just as an ornament, I'll be doing them. But get them nice and silver, some big like Necron glyphs up the sides of them, free-handed on, stenciled in with the airbrush maybe. It's going to be sick. Thick Oz, once again, pretty new to airbrushing. Still working on the Gulliman you saw Sunday, but going to join it on the Magnus hype. Take the advice you gave me and try and improve. What do you think so far? Okay, so we've got a nice blend from purple to red. This is alright, dude. You've got a little desaturated area in the middle there. Now, I imagine that when you start getting your highlights down, that will change. But with your airbrush, if you ever look at part of a miniature, especially where you've put a blend in from one colour to another, and notice that one area looks a little bit grey, that area is going to need some extra highlighting. And there's just an almost a grey band of it where the red and the purple have met and the red's become desaturated by that purple. So when you do your highlights, make sure you pay attention to that area, alright? And that's just going to be something that happens during the sort of airbrushing process. Danny will probably be hitting you up for some of those. If we look at this angle, I think your red comes in a little abruptly on this side. On the other one, it was a lot smoother. Whereas here, especially towards the bottom part of the hair, it almost seems like the red just sort of starts. It's not a definite line and it goes, but it comes in really, really quick from nothing. So maybe either go over the purple with the red or go over the red with the purple, whichever way you need to do those blends. You can go back and forth as much as you want. We did when we did the sword, just to make sure you've got something that's a little smoother with that. Now, equally, you can tidy that up when you go and do your edge highlighting on some of these hairs by just bringing those lines of colour in from one side into the other. So, no issue. And then the last pick. Yeah, from here you can almost see that like 0 to 100 that you've got in red. The purple looks lovely, really nice bright sort of front edge to that. But then that red doesn't come in very quick, very slowly. It doesn't blend in. It just sort of starts and then ramps up real fast. So maybe just feather that out a little bit. Just do another pass with some red over the purple before you do your edge highlights and your washes and so on and so forth. I think what you got is a great start. And I nearly did exactly what you've got here on this to match the sword. But it was the fact that we're going to do that old school epic 40k look with the ginger hair that made me just think, no, we'll just stick to that one colour. So good job. Good job. Really, really smooth. I'm liking it. Show me it after you've done your edge highlights though. I'd love to see it at that point. Santi, this is Pargazi. Nice. Okay, so firstly, I love the blue. Like Gazgol the blue, I can get behind that. Nice check marks, very even. There's quite frequently check marks you see like a grid that's been painted, and so you've got smaller squares that haven't got paint on next to bigger squares that have. And you don't have that here, so great job on those. Bands Lost Arms, peace out, dude. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again soon. Real Letter Teeth. Yeah, this is a good colour scheme for Gazzy. Let's just pop this one open slightly bigger. Yeah, look at those. Check marks are almost spot on. There's a couple of bits here and there you could just sort of trim down with one colour or the other if you wanted to. And what I was talking about earlier on, if you look at the blue square on the top left of this, that's much smaller than the yellow squares that surround it. The way to deal with that then is just take some of that blue and just draw a box around it so it evens it out. Now of course you don't have to do that. And some people say, well, it looks more orky this way. And to a point you'd be right. But I would think that orcs would probably get the checkers all about the right size, but with a little bit of like battle damage, a little bit of like haphazard paint perhaps, so some of the old paint shows through. For some reason in my head, they get the lines absolutely like nailed down. I don't know why. Could raid Jack of Clubs, yeah. He's a nice enough guy, it's not somebody that I would normally watch. Let's look at Gazzy's face. That's not bad, man. It's not bad. The eye that's not the bionic eye needs a little bit of touch up. Excuse me. And because of how bright you've got the rest of it, the blue and the yellow as well will really respond to this quite a lot. I take a really bright pink to do the gum line. You've gone with something that's a little bit more desaturated, and you've got that desaturated sort of like upper lip and just around the mouth in general, which I really like on orcs. But I would take something like this, that Hooker Lipstick Pink, the Vallejo Sunset Red, just to do those gums, to really, really make that jump out. And the reason behind that is that pink pops off against blue and against yellow. That's exactly what you've got for that mouthguard for him. So I would go like right up there with that pink. But it's really good, dude. Nice skin tone. Like I say, I think the eye that isn't a bionic eye just needs a little bit of tidying up. It looks a little bit like it bleeds out a little bit around the edges. But great job. Great job. Well done, dude. Is that SL Slayer, I think? Get my Death Guard army together. Bases are cracked. Earth just needs some tufts as well. Well, exclamation point rival. Head on over there. Go see what Sarah's offering for a tufts. Don't forget you can use code Mohawk for 6% off your order as well. Looking good though, dude. Going that traditional Death Guard color scheme for their re-release in 8th edition. Yeah, I like it. Good work. Good work. Plexi Waffle, another of my hobbies, a 3D printed filming mixture of Robocane from Robocop 2. Oh no. No. Oh god, he was such a terrible, terrible bad guy. Robocop 1, epic. Robocop 2. Robocop 3 is the first thing I'd do if I invented time travel, rather than go back and like assassinate Hitler or something equally important to the human race. I would go back and stop myself from watching Robocop 3 because of how catastrophically shite it was. Jager, peace out, dude. Thanks for your help swatting those bots, mate. Jesus Christ. This is awesome, man. And massive. I didn't get the scale in that first picture, but okay. How about Robocop Prime Directives? Was that the series? Because I didn't watch it. I actually really liked the Robocop reboot they did. I thought that was really good. But fucking hell, mate. That's epic. Really nicely detailed as well, man. Like, good stuff. Really good stuff. And you actually bolted it together as well. That's fucking mental. I'd love to see that when it's finished, mate. I would love to see that when it's finished. That guy is the same guy in Altered Carbon, which is the main series. So I really, really liked season 1 of Altered Carbon with Joel Kinnaman. Fucking loved it. Absolutely loved it. Anthony Mackie is not the right actor to play Kovacs. Controversial opinion, but he is someone that is very good at playing that kind of soft-eyed, soft-spoken dude. Kovacs is a prick. Absolute prick. And Kinnaman plays that really, really well. The unbelievable arrogance and the just nastiness that comes with it. He did that really, really well. The person inside the sleeve doesn't really change, so it became Mackie and it was a different person entirely. This isn't for me. Shayna, peace out. Thanks for dropping by. Really appreciate it. Oakin says, I think he's done. That's cool. Hey, thank you for the host, Shayna. I'm not sure what I'm looking at, but it looks like Slimer from Ghostbusters if he was an old man wearing a nightgown. Is that a sheep on his back? Yeah, I think this is like some kind of like ogre with layers. It's an orc. Cool. Okay. Firstly, that's really awesome. Second thing, I love the skin tones you've got, man. Like, we were talking about this earlier on when we were looking at Polly's miniature, that desaturated like skin around the mouth and stuff like that works really, really well. I love the way that you've done the eyes. You've got a little bit of different colour skin just hanging out underneath there, like the bags of eyes and so on. Really big fan of that. You paid a lot of attention to your skin tones. Yeah, it's cool, man. Very well done. Very well done. He's got a lot of character. Which for a mini that has literally just a facial expression, and in his case, an animal to show off, you've done well with it. Painted endurance skin tone class. Well, that makes perfect sense, mate. Perfect sense. The sculpt's got a little bit of like chin balls going on, which is unfortunate, I guess, but you've hidden that really well. Fucking excellent job, dude. Excellent job. I think that was all we had. So that was all we had, but Plexi Waffle, that's another part of Robot, not Cobb. I have no idea what I'm looking at. Nice, dude. Right, well, thank you to everyone for sharing. Really appreciate that. Tonight, as we've said, we've done Magnus's wig, done his do. Loads of super bright highlights in there. By the time we've got that in here against the face, look at how bright those two are together. Epic. Absolutely epic. The next stream won't be for another week now. So tomorrow I'm heading to Bristol so I can have a little hotel room for a night, and then on Thursday I bought a flight at a stupid hour of the morning. And I'm off to Gibraltar. Going to go to No Retreat. If you want to follow on with how I get on at No Retreat, follow me on Instagram. I'll post a load of stuff up on there. So !social in the chat. When I get back on Tuesday, that is the last stream day of the month. I believe, I want to say that's the 29th. Yeah, Tuesday the 29th. That's the last stream day of the month. We'll be doing the giveaways. !win, !mystery for some details on what we'll be doing in those giveaways. As always, there'll be a £50 hobby voucher, and then one of 3 miniatures that you could win that I will paint for you. So up for grabs this month, we've got the Loon Boss from the Gloomspite kits. Epic looking mini. I love those little mushrooms on the base. Loads of character on those. Or store anniversary miniature, the exclusive Space Marine Sergeant Joven. This guy doesn't need to be an Ultramarine. The shoulder pads have no texture to them, they're just flat, so we can make him any chapter of Space Marines. We've got Dead Body on the base as well, so he's looking cool. Or you could win the contents of the mystery box. Now in here, wrapped in a fuckload of bubble wrap, there is something. So it makes very little noise. But in here is a miniature. So if you decide you don't want a Loon Boss, or you don't want Sergeant Joven, but you still win, you could gamble and get the contents of the mystery box. Now in here could be anything. Alright, we've got some limited edition stuff behind me on the shelf. We've got some out of production miniatures. We've got some Warcry stuff, some Shadefire stuff, some 40k stuff, some Sigmar bits. God, what else is there up there? There's tire models, there's knights, there's resin stuff. There's all manner of crazy stuff up there. But it is a gamble. It might be that in the box is a scenic base. Not ideal. It might be that what's in the box is just a bit of scenery. It could be a single scarab, or it could even be just a grot, like one grot. That's it. And I'm not talking Makari, not a cool grot, just a grot. So it's a gamble, as to what could be in here. It is definitely a miniature. It definitely fits within the confines of the box. But that's all I can tell you about the mystery box. So you could win one of those 3 just by being a subscriber and being online on Tuesday when I get back. I will be heroically tired. I don't travel very well. It just takes it out of me. So we'll need you guys in the chat keeping me enthused. For now, though, let's go and pass on our hobby love. We've had a request to go and raid Jack of Clubs painting. What's he painting today? Do some Death Guard. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm facing Death Guard at no retreat in game 1. So why not? It's the unreleased Sons of Behemat Giant. Is it? I mean, it looks like not quite Death Guard. That's definitely some dudes with Man Reapers. Right, when we get there, be nice, give him a follow if you don't already. Get all the emotes in the stream. I want to see a flood of meeps, my face, the Yondu emote, the MM, all of that in the stream. Get rowdy, and I'll see you guys in a week's time for the giveaway stream. Peace out, everyone. See you soon.